Being a food manufacturing company, food safety and food records, all that stuff is extremely important. Most manufacturing companies take a bunch of different parts and make a finished widget that they can sell, right? Our process is different. We don't know how many widgets we're going to make. We get a tank full of product or a part tank full of product, and we make all that we have in the bin. So it's kind of a reverse engineered type system. And again, we found over time that Epicor has worked really well for us in that customization type fields. We're considered upcycle certified because we take a product that used to be a waste product. 25 years ago, it was just garbage. And now we've upcycled that product. We have HACCP certification, which is Hazard Analysis Critical Control Point certification. BRC, which is British Retail Consortium. We've got gluten-free certification. Right now, we're constantly onboarding new customers now because we have a branded ingredient product that is going into the human health industry. So it's the healthy snack industry, but our biggest animal health one is in production animals. The swine industry is where we're primarily used. In our old systems, we used to be able to do step C before we did A and B. With an ERP system, you can't do that anymore, right? You have to get the order, process the order, invoice the order after you ship it. This definitely streamlines the process because it makes sure that you've done all the steps as well. You've entered the order properly. You have the cross-border shipping details that you need in the system. All of those types of things. That's another anomaly for us, right? When you're shipping across the border, you need to have their DUNS number and their FDA number and all these types of things that we can input into the system. We've created a spot where we can put it in the system and have that information for all of our cross-border customers. So we have the incoming inspection. So when we receive raw product, there's an inspection process that the product goes through before it's released for production. So our operators will pull a sample midpoint, and that sample is what they run their moisture on, and that same sample is used for the quality testing at the end. And then we've got a full gamut of test requirements that are done and documentation that is done and entered into Epicor. Our operators enter their operational information. Every time they make a pallet and record that moisture, it's all entered into Epicor as well in that mid checkpoint. All of our quality documents, all of our record keeping for the raw materials coming in, production records, everything like that was all manual. It was all spreadsheet, so uploaded into SharePoint and just saved in that way. So audits in the past were a lot of paper. We had to have all the records produced. We had to have them all printed. So it was 3 full days of work for the auditor to be on site. Now it's 8 to 4:30 for a couple of days. One of the things we have to do is a mock recall every year. So that's another benefit when you're talking about reduced paperwork and improved timelines. We can, within an hour, a customer can file a complaint and we know which raw product went into that lot that we sold to that customer within an hour, regardless of where they are in the world. And we've changed our food safety certification, so we're now BRC AA certified. BRC is one of the highest ranked food certification companies in the world. The requirement to record a moisture sample or take a product sample out of every pallet of product that is produced, all of these things, they're evident in our forms in Epicor, and makes it much easier, much more possible for us to attain our food safety certification every year, right? And we've got the highest rating 5 years in a row now. We can determine origin of all raw materials that made the product and determine all the customers that received the product inside of an hour. We could have shipped a lot, let's say, to 4 different customers, and you're the first one to use it and you find an issue, we can get a hold of the other guys and they may not have even used it yet, right? I think the overall feeling of confidence that we had in the Success group and the product itself, the product really seemed to be able to be molded because our process is entirely different than most manufacturing processes are. We just had a really good feeling that this one was going to work for us. It was the customization of forms, things like that. It didn't seem to be too difficult to do. With some practice, we were able to get onto that relatively easily as well, which was key for us. We also have all kinds of preventative maintenance jobs, daily maintenance checks, all those types of things that are entered into Epicor as well. When I say equipment maintenance, I mean cleaning and sanitation of your equipment has to happen on a regular basis. Epicor allows us to program those jobs in. Every week it pops up and says, T1 CNS. So that means we've got to clean and sanitize tank 1. The size of the Success team, I guess, would be the biggest thing. Like you've got Epicor support, right? I mean, we can reach out to Epicor and submit a ticket anytime we want. Whereas if it's something that we really want to discuss with somebody, I mean, it's really great to have those types of resources available so we can interact and discuss what our problems are. And I would say in the last 5 years, the majority of our requests have been financial type ones, working on creating new reporting structures and finances, or how does this work, or why is this happening? And yes, it ties back into how you're entering a job or doing something like that, but a lot of it was how it's impacting the financial statement at the end, right? The biggest aha moment I had was how poor our records were. So it took us a long time to update that information when we thought we had pretty solid information in our accounting system on our suppliers and our customers. And at the end of the day, we realized that garbage in, garbage out scenario really was true in this case. You have good solid data going in, it certainly makes a difference coming out the back end. So the team at Success, after the RFP process, right away got a hold of us as soon as they were awarded the contract, and we said we want to turn this around fast. We're moving on this. This is the type of company we are. We're not going to drag our feet. So for me, it's the top one would be the willingness to understand our process and how it works, not trying to fit the company to the product. They wanted to fit the product to the company. The team was dedicated to the install and was always there for us, and fast response times because of the situation, right? We were trying to switch over, and I mean, value, I feel it was valuable and still does provide value to us. Even 8 years in, it's definitely saves us on man hours. Like I would say you can probably justify a position with the cost, right? Just various things. I mean, our audit, use the audit as an example, right? You shave a day off of the audit cost, well, that's $2,000 or $3,000. Record retention, ability to respond to customer queries, all of that stuff it's just faster because all the data is in one place, right? That's how I justify the cost, is time savings. And I think it probably would equate to similar human hours in expense. The one thing I really like about Epicor is the pilot program. I mean, in all reality, it's seamless. That's the whole thing about storing things in the cloud, right? Is it's supposed to be seamless. We've never had any issues with validation, and the fact that our data is held in the cloud, we've never had a concern at all from anybody. Biggest thing I would say would be the post-install support. The one thing that I've always said to people that I've talked to, I think if you have a team of people to spread the work out, it's not so bad. Plus, you'll catch each other's mistakes. So it is important to share that piece of information with people, that a team is important. And implementation and acceptance of the program starts from day one. I mean, it's, hey, people, here's what's happening. We need to do this for these reasons. And I mean, the reasons is what we've discussed today, right? Streamlining the process, cost savings, it'll free up your time. Yes, it's going to be a lot of work when we first put it in there, but once you get the system in place, it is going to make things easier. You just need to be on top of it and keep people involved from the beginning.